Hi,
Could you introduce yourself, please?
my name is Kijong Peck, and I am a second-year student at Inje Medical College.
Uh-huh. So, how long have you been in America?
I have lived in America for 18 years.
For 80 years. So, probably you know a lot about American culture, right?
Yes, I do.
Uh, so, can I ask some questions about Korean culture?
Sure.
Do you have any experiences where you felt a Korean collectivism or uncertainty avoidance or power distance?
Sure. With collectivism, I know that in Korea, people tend to kind of follow what everyone else is doing,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it comes to trends. Like if there's a certain, shoe that's popular because a celebrity wore it, all of a sudden the next day that same shoe will be sold out in all the shoe stores.
Yeah, that's true.
With uncertainty avoidance,
Yeah.
I think you can definitely see that with how much parents put their kids through a lot of hagwons
Uh,
and a lot of kwabe
uh,
because they want to make sure that their kid will be successful. And one way to make sure that their kid will be successful is by making sure that their kid is very educated.
yeah.
So these kids have to endure a lot of schooling and private schooling and whatnot just to make sure that they have a good job. And I think that's part of the uncertainty avoidance. They want to make sure, they want to be certain that their kid will be successful and will have a living for themselves.
Yeah, that's right.
And what else?
Yeah, the power distance. I mean, the relationship between boss and employees. So
Power distance, I feel that all the time.
you feel it all the time in Korea,
Yeah.
or in America too.
Not in America.
Not in America, but here in Korea, right?
In America, I was just a regular person,
Uh-huh.
but in Inje Medical School,
Oh.
a lot of the kids, they know that my family is involved with the hospital and the school.
Yeah.
So, I think, right now, I think everyone is kind of just relaxed and, we're all just friends.
Mm.
But when I first came here,
Mm-hmm.
I think there were some kids who, it was as if, they already knew me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
they already was trying to show me respect even
Uh.
before they knew who I was. Like they
Uh,
knew really who I was, they just knew my background.
yeah.
But just from the background alone, they wanted to already show me respect and, they would give me compliments and
So was it
kind of
was it uncomfortable for you or just comfortable?
well, I mean, I wasn't used to it because when I was in America, I was just a regular person.
Yeah.
So at first it was kind of uncomfortable, but at once they got to know the real me,
Mm-hmm.
who I was, and they became friends with me.
Yeah.
They became more normal, and it was a lot more fun after that. So that's when it became more comfortable. Yeah. And also another thing about the power distance is, I definitely feel it every day when it comes with the sambe and hube
Mm-hmm.
relationship.
Yeah.
I think
It's more strict, right?
it's very strict.
Yeah.
And in America, you don't have anything
Such a
like
culture.
that. I mean, if you were a resident
Uh-huh.
and a doctor
Uh-huh.
was teaching you,
Yeah.
of course you're gonna have to listen to the doctor.
Uh-huh.
But it was never like a first year student does whatever the second year student.
So
tells
it
them
doesn't
to do.
happen in school, right?
Yeah, no, there's nothing like that.
Right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hello again.
So, can I ask you some questions?
Sure.
So, what do you think is the difference between English culture and Korean culture, especially for power distance, uncertainty avoidance, and collectivism?
Okay, so power distance, you're talking about relationships between employees and their bosses.
Yeah.
In Korea, I've noticed they treat their bosses with... They do it with respect, but for me, it's overkill. Like you watch chairmen being helped out of cars, even helped to eat, even if they're quite able to do it by themselves.
Yeah.
You've got all these, what we would call toadies around them. Check that in the dictionary, a toady.
Toady.
And we would find that as like kind of brown nosing. We don't like it. We don't like to suck up to our bosses. Our boss is usually more like our friend, a colleague, someone we can talk to, we can share ideas. We're not necessarily just told to do something. And if we are told to do something, there's usually mutual respect where I can then challenge what you think. And then if I've got the right idea, maybe they will change their minds. However, here it's more one-directional. I'm the boss, you do what I say. There's no discussion about it. So that's the first one.
So do you feel uncomfortable when talking with your boss here?
In general, in the various places I've worked,
Yeah.
I've noticed that the bosses just don't care about your opinion. Whether you be Korean or a foreigner, they have their way and that's how it's going to be done. Whether it's the right way or not. And again, it doesn't matter if you're a foreign employee or a Korean employee. I just noticed this very much one direction.
So you think mutual interaction between employee and his boss is not going on here, right?
Not at all.
Not at all.
I'd say
You've never
10%
seen it
of
here,
companies.
right?
Very, very rarely have I ever seen
Very,
that.
yeah. Me too. So,
And the second one, collectivism.
collectivism.
So this kind of comes into your third point as well. With collectivism, again, good points, bad points. The good points being going out for dinner, social aspects, whereas a foreigner, if you're at home alone, that's fine, you can eat by yourself, but it's lonely. In Asian nations, you're encouraged to go out with your co-workers, with your friends, and dinner is a much more social affair, even from eating from the same bowl, which you just wouldn't really do in England and America, unless you're close family.
Yeah.
Because you're worried about germs, etc. Now, the flip side of that is that the foreign expression would be too many cooks spoil the broth. So, for example, everyone wants to be helping, but because there's so many people, it's actually making it a much more difficult job than it needs to be.
So you think too many opinions take a long time to make a decision, right?
Exactly. And if you go to stores, you go to bars, even on the street, in groups talking in Korea, they talk in a big group, and they don't need to be. They just need to have one or two people select, right, you're going to do this, we'll wait here, and then they can make the place less crowded. Okay. And the last one was...
uncertainty avoidance.
The uncertainty avoidance. Again, as I said, that came into your collectivism.
Yeah.
And the best example I can give you, if Asian cultures in a nutshell, especially Korea, is if you go to a department store, there are two doors. And what you will find is that although both doors open, I know you have Gojangmun, I know you have fixed doors, come to that later, but although both doors open, Koreans will wait to see which door opens, and once that one person goes through the one door, everyone will go through that one door. Even though both of them open, they won't try the second door. This one's open, so I'll go through that one. Even if there's hundreds of people, they will fit through that small space. And that is the same as your collectivism. No one wants to be different, because to be different here is strange. 이상해, Wangta, Byante, etc. So if someone opens out of the door, then people then realize that they both open, then people will go through. But it's like you need to be shown everything. You can't just figure it out for yourself. No one's willing to just try to open the other door. And that comes into your question about whether you're adventurous or whether you're seeking new ideas.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the biggest worry for Korean society, is the lack of inventiveness, because no one's willing to try and break the mold.
So you think the Koreans need to acknowledge being different, right?
I would say embrace being different. Keep the core of what you are. Don't forget where you've come from, certainly. But in this day and age, capitalism isn't for groups. Capitalism is solely based on the individual. And once you embrace that and still keep your history of being together and mixing it, then you can go forwards. If you don't, your economy didn't make it to the stage that Japan did before the aging crisis is now here, and because your GDP is much lower than Japan's was, I worry for Korea's economy at the moment. Housing crisis soon. I can predict a few things, but anyway.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Can I ask you some questions today?
Yeah, of course.
Can you introduce yourself first, please?
I'm Thomas from Sudan. So I'm now studying in Inche Medical College.
So how long have you been here?
I've been here for 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Korean power distance and Korean friendship?
About power distance, like in Sudan usually, even though you are higher than me, so since we are all human beings, so we are just friends. So there's no like power distance, like those of first year, they have to respect those of second year, and those of second year, they have to respect those of third year. Actually, that is respect, but not like too strict. But we are just only friends. Only he's higher than me in education, but at the same time, we just as the same human being, so we are just friends.
So you think there's no like strict bars for being friends, even your different ages, right?
Yeah, like in Sudan, we don't like usually like at the like if we are at the same age, then we are friends. There's no that there's no thing like that. But you can be a friend with someone older than you. But when you're speaking, we speak in a respect form. Usually like in Korea here, there is like respect form. Like there are different types of speeches. So like talking to older person and talking to your age and talking to a small child. But in Sudan we have only the same speech. So we just talk the same. But when you're speaking to other people, so we have to change our voices. Through our voices, we try to express to which person are we talking to.
Okay, thanks very much.
Okay.